to go. When we decided, when the word came to us that we had to go back to the United States, go back to Africa, we didn't know where to go. We were young men. But someone stood up and said, Liberia is the place. Why Liberia? Because that's the place which has an open door policy for black Americans. And so then that's the direction that we went. That was the West Coast. We knew we were picked up on the West Coast, and we were going back, retracing our steps. And at the same time, fulfilling the prophecies, going back by way of the wilderness to be tried by the God of Israel.
I wondered what would make people believe Ben-Ami's vision. And in most cases, it came down to personal convictions and wanting change.
But you have homes, you have families, you have ways of life. You know nothing about this new land, whether you will be accepted or what. What makes you decide to give it all up? I'm looking at you to ask the question.
Well, I'll have to go back to Chicago too, and then my learning about the Exodus, what we call the Exodus, which is leaping up out of America, going to the land of Israel, because this was our home, it was the promised land. Learning that we were not Americans, that we were brought to America as slaves. We were never American citizens like that. We were more like American subjects. I was working at a company called the Wrigley Chewing Gum Factory. I'd been working there some 14 years. Thought I was kind of secure, but it was something from within upon hearing the word from Ben-Ami that he had received the vision from the God of Israel, that it was time to begin the journey back to Israel. And it was something about that I guess it might have to be God himself, that I knew I had to go.
You didn't say, is this the voice of God, or is this Charlton Heston?
No, I based it on facts. As we began to study and to learn and to be taught from the Bible, which we see as a history book, the most authentic history book that we could find even today. And we began to trace our history from that book. And that began to open up so many channels in our minds that the calling was there. The calling was by the prophets of old. It was always there. For example, in the book of Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter, verse 1 through 7, it says that when all these curses, and we know we were under a curse because there's no way that we could have been in the condition that we were in without being cursed by God.
And so now you're in Liberia. Mm-hmm. Your children are in Liberia. And then, but your goal is to get to Israel. Mm-hmm. How do you translate Liberia to Israel?
Well, we're yet being chartered by the Holy Spirit and the prophecies of the God of Israel.
Yet being chartered.
Yes, you see, the prophets of old laid out a chartered a way back for us. And so we were to go through the wilderness, as written in the book of Ezekiel. And there in the wilderness we would be tried by the Holy One of Israel and pleaded with face to face. And so Liberia, we didn't go into the capital city, Monrovia, but we went 110 miles into the bush. When I say bush, I mean jungle. Just raw jungle. The grass would grow so fast, as soon as you would cut it, you could see it growing back. So there we went, and with tents, very green, neophytes, not knowing, really, not going, we didn't spend too much time overnight in the forest preserves. But here we were in the bush, really not knowing how to handle ourselves. Because we arrived at a time, I think it was close to the rainy season, and when it rained on those tents, she didn't say that I'll give you the whole story, but the water came through the tents.
You couldn't keep anything dry.
No, until we became, the Liberians taught us, well, you need to build a rafter to sit them on.
Oh, you say the Liberians taught you. Yeah. Was there an automatic welcome home, brother, from them? And you all can join in now. I don't want to point, well, this is not a classroom. And I couldn't give you directions anyway. This is not a classroom, but I want you all to join in and have a conversation.